I should be lying beside you. That is the heartbreaking tribute from a son who survived the Christchurch mosque shootings as he buried his father and brother today. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Lisa Owen.
And I'm Logan Church, and tonight we're broadcasting live from the front of the Botanic Gardens in Christchurch.
And today, hundreds of people gathered at the Memorial Park Cemetery for the first burial of the 50 victims of Friday's terrorist attacks. As we go to air tonight, another burial is underway at that same cemetery, and more are expected to follow this evening. Logan, you were there this morning for the first burial. Tell us a little bit about it.
So hundreds of devout Muslims gathered a couple of hours ago to bury Khalid Mustafa and his son Hamza Mustafa. Khalid was 44, Hamza only 16. We've spoken on Checkpoint before about Hamza in particular, who was a student at Kashmir High School and a much valued member of their school community. So there was certainly a lot of grief at the Memorial Park Cemetery this afternoon. The weather was sunny today, but the mood was certainly not. This is what happened. Just after midday, the funeral procession made its way across town to the Memorial Park Cemetery. Escorted by a police car, lights flashing, a van carrying father and son was followed by about a dozen cars full of Khalid and Hamza's closest family. Hundreds of Muslims from all over the world gathered at the cemetery for the service for the Syrians who came to New Zealand just last year, a place they thought was their safe haven. This section of the cemetery was surrounded by a tall fence, a large marquee in the middle. Armed police were along every fence line and on every entrance. No one was taking any chances today. Out of that van, two open casket-like boxes, containing Khalid and Hamza's bodies, wrapped in cloth. They were taken inside the marquee before prayers, called Salat al-Janaza, were said.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Media were allowed to film the funeral from a grass bank. Dozens of journalists from all over the world watched on. But perhaps most striking were the mounds of dirt the council had dug up, marked by orange road cones. After the bodies were carried to those graves, they were lowered in. Then the family, followed by friends and onlookers in the crowds, some visibly injured, walked past in a line, dropping handfuls of dirt into the graves. And at the end of the formalities, funeral goers emerged absolutely devastated. Among them were Gulshad and Nasreen from Auckland.
We wanted to be here to support the people who has been victimized and who has been killed, and that's why we came on the first flight. We were crying when we heard the news, and I said to my brother-in-law that if it is possible we can go, and then we arranged quickly for us, my sister Nasreen and me and Sheikh and Zainal. We all came together just to come here to support the whole group, our community as well.
The pair spoke about what they believe the local Muslim community needs right now.
Just the presence of people around,
I think
brings a lot of relief, they're with us.
As far as people are there comforting them, I think they will be all right, but it's not like it will go away that quickly. It will take a long time for them to get out of it. And it is not like only one person. They are grieving for everybody. And we are doing the same. And it's not easy for us. We didn't lose them. The people who lost them, they must be very heartbroken. We are.
Jamil El-Biza from Australia witnessed some truly remarkable words from Zahid Mustafa, Khalid's surviving son. Zahid was at the cemetery in a wheelchair, recovering from his own wounds.
Basically, we gave room, and he did say to his father, I shouldn't be standing in front of you, I should be standing beside you, I should be lying beside you. I don't want to be here. And like I said before, that's very hard for him to say, especially in the presence of his mother. You can only imagine what the family's going through, and they're a very, very small family. But their wider family showed their support, and we really, really appreciate that.
I should be lying beside you. Heartbreaking words to hear from someone whose family has just been ripped apart. But as the afternoon wore on and the cemetery emptied, thoughts went to the coming days. These were just 2 of the 50 people who lost their lives last Friday. Many families are still waiting for bodies to be returned. In Islamic tradition, dead bodies need to be buried as soon as possible. In Christchurch, for Checkpoint, Logan Church.